I find so amazing is that this is, folks, this is a homeowners association. This is not Osceola County government, state legislature, Congress. This is an HOA, and yet tons of people run. So thanks to all of you who ran. We had 5 of you who ran, and it was really close up there at the top, but we elected 2 new board members, and we're going to talk about them. I think 10 of all of you. So if you came here for them, you have to wait. So anyway, we had 1,436 ballots cast online, 217 ballots. That's 36% of you. So thank you all for voting. Thank you very much. And bear in mind, we do have a lot of absentee owners and the like here. So getting that many people to vote is pretty impressive. Our you elected last year. What are you going to do? Oh, yeah. Wait, is that the same? No, it's a different shirt. Different shirt. Yeah. You're in quite the collection of t-shirts.
No, because sometimes I whip my plans.
Very interesting. I know why you voted for it. Oh, here, I'm the president right now. We're about 30 more. The vice president is Charles Richard. Great man. Say I love Charles. The secretary, for some reason, is Eric Okafor. You still don't know why. The treasurer was Andrew, and I would not butcher his last name.
Duganzik.
I still can't do it. Duganzik. I'm a voice actor. And then there's Katie Schultman, who's one of our directors, and Jared, who was one of our directors, and Celia, who was one of our directors. So that's who you got now. We're going to talk about who you get later. We have 2 board members who left us this year. One who left earlier in the year, and one who both of them. Andrew. We don't love you, Eric. We like you a little bit. Anyway, so I think this is where I'm supposed to talk now. Is that right? I don't know. They flip the slide, so I don't know. You're supposed to hit the button. Yeah, that's me. President of the draft. 402 Iris. There you go. Oh, smaller than her? Oh, okay. Anyway, I ran for this board at the behest of a lot of people in town a year ago, a little over a year ago. One of the reasons I ran was because, well, it was a mess. We really weren't a very cohesive organization, and I was nostalgic. I mean, I was on the CROA board from 2007 to 2012. And I was on the CTD board for 8 years after that. And I was nostalgic for a board that really worked. We didn't always agree, but we were respectful. We worked well together. We tried to get things done for the good of the whole community. Now, let me just explain something to you. The good of the whole community doesn't always mean the good of each of us. There's a difference. We're all, as individuals, going to be ticked about things once in a while. Not the way it goes. But we try to make decisions, and every board should try to make decisions that are in the best ultimate interest of the community. And we came into our term a year ago with a lot of, okay, the grand scheme of the world, maybe problems. In the scheme of an HOA, pretty big problems. We had playgrounds that were built and were a disaster, or partially built and a disaster. We had a building that we discovered was crumbling due to lack of maintenance and care. We had parks that were in disrepair. We had landscape companies that were battling. We had a board and a management company at war with each other. We had all kinds of bad things going on, and somebody needed to come in and not necessarily fix it, but try to make it a little better. And that's what this board did. That's what this board did. We had an incredible year. I mean, incredible. We got this playground done. Now, that's what I worked on before, and we didn't just do it, but done. Doesn't it look nice? It really is nice. We're fixing all the parks in town. All of the active and passive parks are in one step or another in process of getting rehabbed. Have you seen Hippodrome? It's gorgeous. Good work is being done. Is it perfect? Far from it. Do we have places that we need to go from here? Yep, we're gonna try to keep doing that. We have come up, we have a master plan advisory group that we're gonna talk about in a little bit, that has actually taken all of the disparate wants and needs and combined them into something that makes sense. Again, not perfect, but darn good. That master plan advisory group and this board have us on track to make 851 better than it was before. So that this time next year, there's a good possibility we'll have this meeting back there in a bigger room. But we can come together as a community with one thing. I mean, that to me, that would be so exciting to be able to have the holiday event that the foundation does so beautifully, to have it back there, to have the dances there, to have the meetings there and the classes there, and, you know, the thriving in place and all of those great programs in that building again. So we hope to actually, we hope to have that done, at least in terms of our office space and the like, before this year is over. So we're trying to accomplish some really big things. And the only way we can do that is to focus on those critical issues, which means sometimes some of the smaller stuff is going to get left behind a bit. We're going to address as many of those things as we can. So I want to thank you for your patience with the board. I want to thank you for the support you guys have given us, for the votes of confidence you have given us, and for helping make this community the place that Debbie and I have proudly called home for 2 hours. Spent really, when we started building in 1996. We started building our home in the spring of 1996 and moved in 97. So apparently we like you. And thank you all very much. Now, we're going to move on to some other things. We're going to talk about all these, again, celebrations of an amazing community. We have so many people who volunteer to work on committees and organizations in town to make it better. All of us volunteer. Not one of us gets paid a penny for anything we do. We volunteer to make this a great place, and it takes a community. I'm going to say a village, because we've got lots of villages. Even Island Village takes them too. We're not, I'm kidding, we love Island Village. I haven't been to the coffee shop yet, but I want to go. Is the taco place open yet, Jim?
No.
Come on in, I want to go for taco. You go to taco. There's a taco at, oh, it's ice cream tacos? Really? Oh. The cool stuff that committees and advisory groups have done over the past year. I mean, we have a lot of people who volunteer for committees. We have tons of great partnerships, and these guys and gals here spend a ton of time working with these various communities to try to make sure that we are on track. And because Celebration is a place that would, I really think that the thing that made it most attractive to most all of us, great community, nice people, all that stuff, but it's the architecture. When you first came to Celebration, what was it that attracted you? You looked around and went, "Oh, cow, this place is gorgeous." To keep it gorgeous, you have to maintain the look and the feel that Disney originally designed. And to do that, we have an architectural review committee that has some great people on it and is liaised by Mr. T-shirt himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Overbeck.
Thanks, Don. So, really briefly, just connecting with the Architectural Review Committee, all of us probably or should have had an interaction with the ARC at some point in time when you're in the community. When I took over the liaison with the ARC, we were facing upwards of 700 pending applications when we first started. This committee had pretty much an impossible task to figure out, to be able to do. They have worked tirelessly not only to solve, to vote on each one of those applications, work with the residents to try to figure out how we can get whatever their vision is that they want to modify their home, how we can get that to be approved within the ARC guidelines, but then also look at the guidelines that are a little bit of a tripping point. So things that had been changed previously, one of the big things that we reinstated was streamline review. So for example, there are certain things that you do for your home, there's absolutely no reason why ARC needs to look at it as long as you fit within the box, right? You want to paint your house the same color and everything looks good? Sounds like a plan to me. That gets stamped off, doesn't have to wait for ARC approval. Doorbell cameras is a fun one. If you fit within the guidelines that are set, it gets stamped, moves forward to the process. You don't need to wait for the committee to go in and vote on these things. This committee, the big thing too, that a lot of people don't know, they see the ARC meetings and they see the things that are discussed in an ARC meeting. There are hundreds of applications that are reviewed online every single week by this committee. And so I really think that, they are one of the hardest working committees from a behind the scenes perspective. Because a lot of the things that you see that go on a meeting, those are the big ones that they need to discuss. Everything else they're logging on a weekly basis, to look at all these applications and the time that they're putting within. They also try to work with our management team to figure out where are we seeing some of these tipping points that maybe we need to refine the guidelines a little bit more. So really want to thank all the committee members for their tireless effort. Stephen right now is at the helm of the chair. Corey Koenig was sitting on the ARC prior before he stepped down. And all these guys really took a huge bite at being able to not only work through these applications, but then try to figure out how we can refine the process. So just want to say thank you to the ARC. It's been, they make my life a little bit easier. Thank you.
Thank you. We did also this year bring back probably certainly on the committee, one of the most important positions, and that was the ARC, the town architect. We've had a town architect for many years who was familiar with all of the founding stuff, and then we didn't for a while. We brought back Jeffrey Mallon as our so he goes over everything, the big picture things, to make sure we're sticking to the vision. Next up, we have our communications committee, and they're the ones who have, by the way, done a great job lately of communicating. We've got the bi-weekly communications, the website's looking great, a lot of good things have happened. And running that group is the board liaison. Janine is the chair, but Charles is the board liaison. Charles Richards.
Yeah, so you're probably going to hear from me on a few committees. My philosophy on committees is typically get away from it, right? We put people on these committees to do a great job. Someone who's just there to foster communication between the board and the committees. I never consider myself to be another member of the committees. It's always about making sure that they have the resources, they have the support of the board, and I'm available as needed. It was obviously a little bit of a tough year with a lot of committees and having to rearrange some things, and it was certainly an issue for me. But communications is a brand new committee that I believe at some point in time it was a committee years and years ago. I'm really excited about this one. This is one that we look at help with best practices around communication and marketing. We have some public relations discipline there as well. Really nice cross section of the community that's really helping us to actually a really comprehensive strategy. So this is the first time I'm actually looking at this, and I apologize. I'm going to try and paraphrase. They've got a lot of work around smart webs, helping to message that around rollout, implementation, and making sure everyone has idea of what's on there. I know they sunsetted a bunch of communication channels X or quarterly, whatever it's called now. But they've been looking pretty deep at the engagement metrics, making sure we have the right communication channels, right message at the right time. They've been doing all the social media policies, making sure updates in place, making sure we have good, effective platform. Community outreach and risk management. So that's where internship programs. But they did it. They did. They did. Yeah. And then future focused planning and resident engagement, comprehensive holiday and awareness campaign calendar. Again, looking at platforms and programs, distributing messaging and the role of engagement. So really a great committee, to just drive improvements across the board. Having up.
Thank you very much, Carl. Thanks for the committee. People who make sure we don't let our place go to egg double hockey sticks, as my grandmother said. They kind of watch over and make sure that the guidelines are appropriate and that we're taking care of the things we need to take care of to make the place look nice on a day-to-day basis. And they are the folks who make sure that the staff members are doing what they need to do with covenants, that the inspections are what they need to be, and that things are changed as things need to be changed. And the Covenants Committee is a very active group, and they're chaired by Gary Hudspeth, who's been here for a long, long time. And again, the board liaison there is Charles.
All right, back in. So Covenant Committee, I apologize, I didn't announce the communication here, I'm going to slide the room. So Covenant Committee, Gary, obviously is our chair. We've got Dan, Sandy, Alina, Shelley, Dawn, and Diana. So really a great committee, lots of experience, lots of new folks coming on. I think it's been a really nice cross section of the community. We've got 7 members all working together. We've got community concerns, we've got the letters, we've got the violations. We often know what covenants is, the necessary evil. We have and our property values and whatnot. But they act as an advocate for residents while operating within the scope defined by the celebration charter and bylaws. They have had 5, the second ties into some years with the ARC. So they've come together to work collectively with the ARC committee to help streamline the design guidelines. Obviously, what's happening with the ARC does feed into covenants, making sure that we're all lockstep there. What ARC is approving, making sure the covenants also acknowledges that they can administer, et cetera. Well, take the right pictures and posts, et cetera. Educational campaigns. So they've been doing weekly, monthly campaigns to educate membership through Friday Flash, Monday Matters, and other new channels. Well, hearing violations, but that's obviously when they're having the meetings, hearing residents, what's going on. I've been really impressed with it's hard with this type of committee because you want to be compassionate, you want to hear residents and kind of what's going on and give them the opportunity to truly hear it. And I do think they've done a really good job with this. And then smart events, that's a big initiative for us. What's getting covenants and ARC software that replaced CROA. So before it used to be all done through CROA, the violation lawyers and the ARC.
It's just a new software program that enables them to better send out the letters, the violation letters. It just combines all of the various aspects far more simply in one form online. So that when those letters go out, everything is there instead of having it in a lot of different places. All right, Charles, thank you. Thank you to the Covenant Committee, the one committee that if I was going to be on the committee, I wouldn't want to be. It's a grumpy committee. People yell at you. I don't like being yelled at. Now, the committee that no one yells at anyone because who can yell at dogs? They're sweet as can be. We have a dog park committee because we have one of the finest dog park around, even if it's not perfect. And I know we're working on things. And Paul Bagley. Oh, I need to Bagley. I always get that one wrong too. And Jared is the board liaison, but Jared's not here. So, okay, he's gonna do it.
So big thank you to Paul, Sue, Mark, Jill, Jonathan, and Ron. I'm going to go over some of the highlights of the dog park committee this year. They organized and executed 2 dog park behavior workshops, revised the rules and regulations of the park, including the weight of the dogs required to enter the park. Small dogs are not permitted in the large dog park. They installed additional rocks at the large dog park, increased resident involvement, worked with the board to accomplish 100% of objectives for the year, and created dog park merchandise for upcoming events, which is very cute because of the dumb. So thank you all.
Thank you to all you dog owners. Work out. It's funny, Debbie and I, when we first moved here, in Central Florida back in like 93, we were looking around going, do people not like dogs in Florida? We didn't see very many dogs in communities where we were looking for houses. And then we came here and we went, oh, here's where all the dogs are. They're in Bridget. Anyway, the next one is really, really critical because we run a very tight financial ship in Celebration. We have budget surpluses. We don't have, I don't think we have any debt anymore, do we? We paid off all of the debt we've had for other things to the back. We're a very responsible community. And the reason we are fiscally responsible is because we have a great finance committee. Jim Pino chairs that, but the guy who's the liaison is Andrew right here, who's also the treasurer of the board. Andrew.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you to Jim as chair, Frank, Tina, Mike, and John as members. In looking at financing, we started the year. I know we ran to try to do a lot of improvement for the community, and obviously that's going to be an increase in spend. So throughout the year, there was back and forth from myself as liaison and the finance committee members as far as how to get off that tight line. We need to spend to fix our community, but we don't want to overspend for ourselves and for. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but it's just a quick snapshot of what the revenues coming in were, about 8.5 million. Majority of that, 75% of that is truly coming from your home tax. Expenses ran a lot this past year, with a $16,000 deficit. Positive news was in January, there was some late farmers market revenue, so if we count that 20,000 in, then we're a net positive 4,000. So with all the unexpected expenses from a town architect to rent for the one building and a number of other things, it'll be pretty much flatlining on the overall budget. We're hugely capped, and I pray this will the committee in making sure that we get those numbers as hard as we can throughout the entire year, but also from management to keeping expenses down when we got into the second half of the year, because in the middle of the year, I'm concerned that we may end up with a six-figure loss on the year. But in looking at keeping an eye on expenses, keeping that down for the second half of the year, happy with the overall result that we had in pretty much a break even. Jumping into the next slide. So in getting familiar with the community, I didn't really understand where our money went to and pretty down. So just quick highlights. Other operating is the biggest one, and majority of that is truly compensation, about 1.6 million. That is a shared cost with Canella in paying for our people that fix and repair our properties, do the different events in town, and everything in between. Looking at just there's only 4 that were over the 5%, so that's your operating, which is the shared expenses with development in the CJC, landscape maintenance, which you know with the numerous parks, that's a large one. Allocations, that where part of our assessment is going toward the replacement fund and the capital. So a lot of replacement is being turned over right back in fixing things. The capital has been growing recently, but again, that's what's going to be needed for 51 later this year when it comes out. And then finally, compensation, which that's the second line broken out because there are some expenses that are geared for just CROA versus going to look. We can jump to the next page. Just talk about some of the key accomplishments was the modified home resale, which I don't know is highly contested in the community and pretty close to a 50-50 split. But the reason that was needed is truly that when we were going down the path of the master plan advisory committee, they were putting that plan in place without the funding guarantee behind it. And with this on the step, they didn't want us to be able to look at the future and say,
204K of interest.
in line of where we can build, how we can improve. We got a splash pad going, we have bathrooms at Lakeside and Spring Park, a lot of different things that could go in. So that big visualization of that fund to be able to spend again on 51. So we don't have to have a special assessment or anything of that nature. just finishing off and credit goes to the finance committee on that. So, with the US treasuries, that was something that was a 3 to 6 month rollover on the year to garner additional income that we weren't currently using. Obviously, there wasn't a bunch of new projects being done when we first came on, but starting to put that framework together of what that future looks like. While money was sitting stagnant, they were helping permit a larger interest in income for the community. So very appreciative of that. And then I'm sure more of the longstanding members of finance are aware, but the weren't as always as soon as they were. And it's been a number of years to get to where we were. So in 2023, have a clean audit, and then we're looking to do a quick turnaround on the 2024 audit now that our auditor has familiarity with it and the work very much changed. So overall, appreciate all the effort that that committee has done. They definitely have their efforts are shown clearly in our community, and just a big thank you to all those groups.
And looking at our board for next year, and no offense to any of you, but I don't know how we're gonna fill this shoe. But when it comes to a treasurer, you're one of the best treasurers I've seen in a long time. You've really done a great job, a great job. Next up is the committee that makes all those sparkly things that happen around town. They make the music, they make the dancing, they make the eating, they make the fun stuff. And that's the Lifestyle and Special Events Committee, which is chaired by the inimitable Dory Moyer and liaised by Katie Schulman.
So thank you so much, Dory, Nathaniel, Debbie, Marco, Eugene, Deborah, and Carla. One of the things the Lifestyle and Special Events Committee did was they focused their events around the celebration cornerstones. So for education, they had coyote education, hurricane preparedness, and a Gatorland animal show. For health, there was One Blood, Big Red Butt, and on-spot dermatology. For technology, movie nights and food truck Fridays. For community, we had spring fling, father-daughter dance, holiday fest, and the holiday concert. And for plays, the parade, home, and improvement expo. And one big thing that happened as well was the award from the Florida Festival and Events Association, for third place for the father-daughter photo op, third place for the 4th of July week, and they received the Gold Stevie Award in partnership with Celebration Community Services for the 2024 platform. Great honor.
Friday under technology.
You pay by a mobile device.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That'll be good one. Pretty impressive. Then we have the Management Agreement Advisory Group. This was a group that was formed to help us deal with some issues related to moving forward with our management company, Grand Manners. And a lot of people spent a lot of time helping us figure out what kinds of benchmarks we wanted them to meet to make sure we were getting everything we needed to get out of our management for the money we're paying. And there was not a liaison on purpose because we didn't want to tell them what to do. But we want to thank Daniel and Dennis and Mark and Gary and Claire and Bill. Get spoil the surprise for later. And Robert, for being a part of that. Thank you very much. Gary was the chair. Yes. Gary chairs all kinds of things. Gary is a busy guy. Then we move on to the Master Plan Advisory Group. Now, let me preface this by saying we have been trying since my last time on the board, at least, probably before that, to come up with some sort of a master plan for future amenities and celebration. And my goodness, that's one of the most contentious things ever. Because guess what? All of you think something different is important than the person next to you. We all want something different. We got people who want tennis. We got people who want pickleball. We got people who want basketball. We got people who want theater. We've got people who want all kinds of different things, and we can't do them all. Although the Master Plan Advisory Group and now committee did manage to figure out a plan to get a lot of those things done over time, thanks to that new money that Andrew was talking about. So just, before we go any further with this, we have just approved the very first big project from MPAG. And that is the money to, the kiddie pool at Lakeside has to be replaced. It's a mess. That will be replaced soon with a amazing splash pad that kids will love. So, Joe is the chair, but Jared's the liaison, and Jared's not here again. Are you Jareding?
Yeah.
Gary and Katie's Jared tonight.
Okay. So,
Much better looking than Jared. Sorry, Jared.
new committee this year that came from the Master Plan Advisory Group. So we want to thank Joe, Joanna, Dennis, Mark, Robert, Marco, Jim, and Alex. Some of the things that, some of the highlights were they delivered a comprehensive strategic plan for celebration. They issued the splash pad RFP and selected a vendor, which we voted on and approved. Co-leading the 851 renovation project, which John said we're on track for there, and co-developed draft RFP for the multi-purpose board.
That's a lot of stuff. I mean, that really is an incredible, and you should see, if you haven't been to a master plan group meeting, they have a long-term plan laid out for future amenities, including, civic facilities, indoor facilities, meeting facilities, maybe even a theater facility, that kind of stuff. So we've got all kinds of great things coming down the pipe for you. So now we have the Park and Recreation Committee. We are blessed in Celebration to have many parks and recreational facilities, all of which, well, okay, a little bit of CDD, but for the most part, we're talking about no county help whatsoever. We self-fund and manage an incredible array of facilities that would make many municipalities breathe with envy. And in large part, that's because we have a really great Parks and Rec Committee, which is chaired by Victoria and Charles, once again. Charles just loves being liaison.
We're not in service agreement.
Oh, no, that's the one thing all night.
All right, Parks and Rec Committee, Victoria is the chair. Second, everyone, he's just done an amazing job there. We have Catherine, Anthony, Michael, Doriana, Lindsay, and Marco, and Rob was on for a bit as well in the year. And Mickey, obviously, is our amazing liaison with management. So again, I haven't done a pre-read on this. I'm going to try and just paraphrase a few things, but the rec committee is everything you see around celebration, around partner programs, and parks. And working really closely with the special events team on certain things. So they just do a really great job. They've worked over 37 recreational club contracts in 2024, complimentary pop-up programs for residents. Trivia was under the park. Yeah, the one over there, pretty cool. If you all went to that. They review potential partnerships and offerings to provide a service to the community. You need to get back to the community. Celebration volunteer programs with staffing needs and resident community large. They spent a lot of time on the 2024 facility rentals, revised rates and updated rules and regulations. And they assisted with recommendations on new in-house programs. Kids in and out summer breakout.
And now the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about service area committees. And once again, believe it or not, Charles is the liaison.
So part of why I haven't read a lot of these slides because the service areas are taking a lot of time and rightfully so. When I took over service area liaison from Celia didn't give me a flavor. Yeah, you didn't tell me how much it was. 14 service areas.
She wanted you to be surprised.
And you were. It's a lot. It is a lot. And these are really, the best way to describe it is almost mini HOAs. We have our master board, and then every one of these, or 7 to 8 of them, have committees, and then kind of branching out. They have their own procurement, they have their own RFPs, they have their own landscaping. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's been great. But honestly, we couldn't do this without the committees. Everyone to support the service areas. I'm going to try and go through everyone knows Academy Road, Terry Ann is the chair. We've got Rod, Smithy, Michael, and Eugene. Down Village, Carl is the chair, Patricia, Robert, and Brian. Island Village, Esther is the chair, Catherine is vice chair, Susan and Paul. Green Lake, Mark, Barry, and Jennifer. Blue States, Joseph, Lisa, and Don, sorry. Eyes are getting worse every year. Parkview Townhomes, Matt, John, Martin, North Village, Patricia, Nick, and Patrick. So, we have a lot of work for making surface areas for sure. That's been a major initiative for the board, with the performance improvement plan. We're continuing to keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening there. Changes not going to happen overnight, but we're really trying to get the right attention and the right care on it. And thank you to management for being patient too with us as we kind of get this week and those as well. Those have done a really good job as well. All right, I'll fly between various addition of the Greenland service area committee. I think they just did that recently. I think it's online their committee. So we have a total of 8 now. 8, 9. 9?
Yeah.
9. Like total. All right, held quarterly meetings with each service area, engaging all service areas in the 2025 budget process. So imagine the CROA budget process and then you apply the token time. Conducting monthly landscape walkthroughs, these are really important. So they're doing vendor grading for each area. They're going through and looking at the landscaping, they're looking at the plants, working on improvement plans and what's going on with it. They've done various paint projects across the board. They've done roof projects, investment meetings. So Academy Row made the decision to invest similar to what we've been doing on the CROA side, and then just approved one. We ran out of one for 3 months. They did pressure washing, gutter cleaning for all 14 service areas, and more paint. A lot of paint, a lot of pressure washing, a lot of direct leads. But again, we're really trying to put a lot of time there into this and looking forward to seeing what we can do.
Few states are as hard on buildings as Florida. It's a tough place to maintain property. And that we do, that they do such a good job on the service areas. They look great, and we appreciate all that thing. And you are working your tail off. Thank goodness for you. Because there's another one. Now we move on to technology. One of the cornerstones of Celebration is technology. And it has at times kind of fallen behind the wayside. Technology is moving along at a clip that probably is astonishing to many of you who are older like I am, although I am pretty sure. It is a great group of people who are trying to get a lot of things done, and the chair is Bill Long, and the liaison is Andrew.
Yeah, so again, technology committee, thank you to Bill as chair, Stephen, Molly, John, Tom, Brett, and Chris as members. I think it was a little bit of a challenging year from the technology standpoint, and the fact that in the third quarter, we had a turnover on the director of IT. Prior to that, there was the in-process Gallagher project, which is trying to provide the ability to use your phone to open TV card doors and for bathroom playgrounds all over town. So that was something that prior was working and moving along, but at least this group put so many hours into the various locations, assisting me, making sure ProTech installed it correctly, testing it more than twice to make sure that it's functioning and working. They put a lot of time into that and getting it up and running. And then with Dom jumping in now, getting to that final phase that ideally, not going to put the cat out of the bag, but hopefully in the next coming months, that'll be something that would be rolled out to the community, and the next board will provide that direction. And looking at the security has always been a focus of our community, and the group has put together a mobile camera option that was done about halfway through the year, tested, and it's functional, and we're seeing poor results this year. So it's something that it's in the repertoire of our community, that if there is some blind spots or additional need, that's an option for them. Something that is, I guess, a bipolar project is the charging stations, and I guess the one piece of it is, if things doesn't work, why the hell we have it, kind of thing. And I think that's where the technology committee looked at it, and with the ever changing environment of chargers, and the medium to fast chargers are now flow chargers and remote chargers, and that turnover just is moving faster. So, that was something that in Lakeside, if no one is using them for charging because they're broken, what's the point of having those spots? So that was a difficult subject to have, and I know it was a little bit split, but at the end of the day, everyone kind of got on the same view and was, let's use the safe there for people that can use it. And then already touched on Gallagher, but again, that's been the major project this year, so. Excited for the work that they. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, believe it or not, in addition to the 14 service areas, those didn't include condos. In addition to all those, there are condominiums, and a lot of those in town represented by the condo council. Look at all those condo areas that are in town. Holy cow. And Eric took that one on. Eric?
So in all honesty, Celia did all the heavy lifting, the condo council, before I stepped in when she stepped down from the board. And what a lot of people don't realize is how many residents that we actually have in the community that live in a condominium. And it's a significant number that come in there. There are unique situations that happen in a condo environment as it relates to ARP and covenants enforcement. And then also just being able to bring the different condo committees together to be able to talk. And so really, we don't really serve from an HOA standpoint on the CROA side at directing them exactly what they need to do. But we want to make sure that we're having the opportunity where they can facilitate a conversation with one another, where they might be experiencing, challenge in one condominium community, they can come together and learn from something else at the same point in time. And so there's not kind of an overlap of resources that they're each trying to dedicate towards something, but then allow us to kind of help facilitate that conversation and then be able to escalate or be able to guide any questions that may come in, either towards our management company or to outside resources as needed. But this is definitely one that is important. A lot of people overlook how many people, once again, are in condos in the communities. And I'm really glad for the participation from those condo councils that do come together and do participate. It's definitely helpful for people to do.
Thanks, sir. So much. Now, let's talk a little bit about resident services. Now, this isn't an area, the board is the group that advises and gives consent to things that are done. But resident services is an area that is basically under the purview of Grand Managers, our management company, and our community managers, Lauren and Jacob. And you guys want to touch on this one? What are you, Lauren?
All right, so resident services moved a couple of times this year thanks to 851 being down. First, they were at 851. They spent a little bit of time here at Eric Hall. Then they moved to the 690 building, the old town hall downtown by the post office. Thank you. And now they are at Lakeside Park at 631 Sycamore. The ladies, the resident services team have been troopers in this, and they have put up with a lot. They are amazing at helping our residents, and they even came up with a way to bring our ID card software out to the boulevard at Windsor, thank you, and get all of those residents access to ID cards so they can come in and enjoy the events, use the amenities. A lot of them weren't even aware that they were permitted to have resident cards, or if they were, they couldn't get down to resident services to get those. So that's one of their big accomplishments, along with working with the logo shop and helping with the return of Celebrate Monopoly that was issued during
Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, the resident services people are, they're the face of the community. Back a long time ago, I went to one of those resident services. You were very confident. She's ignoring me. She's totally ignoring me. All right, let's talk about our town hall, lovely town hall staff. The executive director of Celebration Residential Owners Association is Lauren Gunyon, from whom you just heard. Truly speak for the board, I think, when I say we are so thrilled to have been able to hire this year Jacob Waddle as the general manager. Terrific. And then we're putting together an amazing staff. We've got a new director of lots of different things. We've got Christian running facilities. We've got Domenico, we've got Jennifer, we've got Nikki, who we love. Nikki's been here for a long time. Hello, Nikki. We love you. Danny and Jeanette and Danica and Rose and Melinda and a whole lot of other people who work with them and a whole lot of other people who work with those people. And we have a lot of people here because this is a big community and there's a lot going on. This is not just an HOA where people write you up for covenants violations and do nothing else. I mean, we act like a real live town, even though we're not one. So I want to thank all of you guys. We want to thank all of our community partners. These are areas of parts of Celebration and parts of Osceola County that work really hard with us to try to make this a great place. The county commissioners, we work closely with Peggy on the county commission. The Celebration Foundation, which is here in town, they're terrific. Kathleen Scipio, they do a lot of great programs with us. Osceola County Sheriff's Office, the Lexington Town Center people who are part of Canoa, the school district, CCDD with whom we work closely, and Celebration Sanitation, without whom we would all be buried in our own trash. So, thank you, Celebration Sanitation. Now we have the traditional community video. Here we go. See all the dogs are celebrating. Hear complaints from time to time from the community, not a lot, but some, that complain about things. It happens, right? The one complaint I don't think I've ever heard at a meeting of any kind is, hi, I live in Celebration and I'm bored. There's nothing to do here. Why don't you guys do something? You do a lot of stuff, and it's pretty fun. I mean, it's a fun place to live. So anyway, that was great. Thank you for the video. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to induct a member into the, and I know you all want to be part of this, so get busy and volunteer, into the Celebration Volunteer Hall of Fame. We'll turn it over to Lauren for the big award.
Volunteer of the year this year, we're gonna announce the gold winner.
Oh, there's a raffle? Debbie, do I have a ticket? I can't.
And this year's raffle ticket winner was Gary Hudson.
And then you're also in Celebration Volunteer Hall of Fame version 2 right now. I'm joking.
And thank you to Campus Cousins and the town captain for donating.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, time for Celebration Volunteer of the Year. For those of you who don't know, every year the management team gets together and discusses all of the volunteers that we engage with in Celebration. There are so many of you, and we couldn't do what we do every day without all of you. So thank you to everyone who volunteers here. This year we had 3 hot contested nominees, but we took a vote amongst the team and we ended up nominating Stephen Fraunfelter. Stephen really took the bull by the horns this year, being the chair of the ARC committee. He really was one of the driving forces along with Eric and the rest of the committee and getting all of those ARC applications down to below 100 pending applications on a regular basis. He also took the charge along with Gary on the Covenants Committee to help rewrite the design guidelines that we have here in Celebration. And not only was he one of the biggest voices in that, he also took it upon himself to assist in reformatting all of the design guidelines so they're much easier to read, much easier to understand, and they will be much easier for everybody to use. So thank you, Stephen. I know he's
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a big election that ended yesterday with the counting of the ballots, an effort on the part of another incredible group of volunteers, including one who made a mad dash over here in a neb and messed up her hair. She fixed it. So fine after. The votes are in, and the newest board members, or the newest board members are Marco. Bill, you got a clue? No. All right, let's see, closing remarks. You guys have any closing remarks before I close out? Any of you? Please. Oh, you do, yeah. I forgot you do have something.
So I want to say, and we're going to see us. See you later, where are you? I just want to thank Celia because when I first ran in 2021, you may not remember this, but I have a pretty good memory. It was a candidate forum, and we were talking, I think one of the questions was budget. Do you understand the budget process? And you don't remember that question?
I remember that, and I don't understand it.
Your answer was, I treat it like the budget I'd have at home. I put everything into an envelope. Separate envelopes for this, this, and this. And I thought at first, he's treating our $9 million budget like deal or no deal. And then I got the message. And I can't tell you how big the heart is and how much she added to this work. We may have not agreed on everything. But it's going to be hard. I just want you to know that. And thank you for everything.
He really wants you back. Please, come back and help him. Well, just help him on this job. Anyway, I want to wrap this up by saying, I would personally thank everybody here and everybody who is in this community for helping make this just truly a wonderful place to live. And a community unlike many others anywhere in the nation. We really are a special place. And you help make it special by participating, by coming out to these meetings, by voting, by serving on committees, by attending events, by just being you and good neighbors and helping your neighbors. And I truly, truly, truly appreciate every one of you for all the stuff you've done. I appreciate our staff. I think they're doing a terrific job right now. I think this next board is going to be a very busy and very productive board because our goal is to get us back together. I really don't think there's anything we can do in this year that's more important than getting all of us back together in one building, one park where we can all hang out instead of being spread all over. But tonight I thought, where's this going to be? Oh, it's only Heritage. It's all we have left. So I can't wait to see what great things we're going to do in the next year. And I look forward to seeing you all at future meetings as long as you're not involved. Thank you. Second, we're adjourned now, folks. The regular meeting.